My name is Jenna Palant, and I'm a style-crazed full-time creative living in sunny San Diego. In 2016, my husband and I purchased our forever home, and now, in between balancing my upholstery business, our 4 dogs, and just life in general, I'm going to renovate our home room by room, project by project myself, with some fun help from a few of my friends along the way. And I'm going to share it all with you right here on YouTube. So, are you ready to see a room bloom?
The Atomic Atrium project has seen quite the transformation since its initial demo, but I'm not sure any of them are as exciting as today's reveal, which is part 1 of the custom upholstery I am creating from scratch for the 70s inspired sunken living room space. This is also the first time in the project where I won't be calling on my home away from home, the Home Depot, for supplies, as they simply do not carry anything upholstery related. Womp womp womp. Which is more than okay actually, because I'm an upholsterer by trade and already have my go-to suppliers. So imagine my delight when one of those suppliers were game to sponsor this portion of the project. That's right, Knoll Textiles gifted Homebird Upholstery an entire bolt of 70s decade appropriate fabric, so I could add the perfect groovy textile to this entirely DIY space. All right, let's get started. And yes, once again, I'll be using our kitchen island as my cutting table because, well, if it works, why change it? To get the ball rolling on the Sunken's upholstery, I decided to start out with the tedious of tedious upholstery tasks when it comes to cushion making. Measuring and cutting out all the fabric I need to create each cushion's welting, which is the contrasting piping you see along the seams of all of my custom cushions. It's something that Homebird Upholstery has come to be known for in the San Diego area. My whimsical pop of residential upholstery. I usually spend this task listening to music documentaries while mentally mulling over how exactly I'm going to execute these cushions on my task list, as there is always more than one way to create a custom cushion. You just must decide which one is the best one for the design dilemma at hand. And those initial mental design decisions are solidified once you start taking the furniture's measurements. As even though I was super attentive while building these concrete built-ins, irregularities still happen because remember, there is no such thing as perfection. That's a reminder for both you and I. Yepers, this is where being a recovering perfectionist serves me well. Because I am so anal with my measurements, I am able to create cushions that fit exactly to the space where they will reside. And I'm gonna try my very best to show y'all color lovers how to do exactly that. Now, if you don't know how to sew, I cannot help you with that because that's an entirely different beast in itself. So if you can sew, yay. If not, bad news bears. When cutting out cushion fabric, you have to know 3 specific measurements: the depth and length of the seat area of furniture in question, and the finishing thickness of your future cushion. Next, you're gonna take those 3 measurements and add 1 inch to each individual measurement. Why? Seam allowance, which those of you who can sew know exactly what I'm talking about. And for those of you who don't know how to sew, in the infuriating words of my handsome hubby, Google it. I don't know why, y'all, but every single time he says that to me, I see red. Okay, let's cut out some fabric. Taking those newly configured measurements, cut out both the top and bottom of your seat cushion, as well as your boxing material for the sides of your cushion, which in this particular case is 5 inches wide and as long as the entire exterior of the finished cushion. All right, why? Well, that's because we are going to put the cushion zipper actually underneath the cushion itself. Okay, now double why. It's simply a design decision I made as an upholsterer, as I didn't want the zipper visual or protruding from the back of the cushion. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So once you're done cutting, you should have 6 total fabric pieces for each seat cushion, the top and the bottom of your cushion, along with the boxing and 2 strips for the welting. These are the parts you'll be sewing all together. But first, let's take care of that zipper. Okay, so this is gonna be a lot like a purse zipper. Or it is It is a purse zipper. Sorry, my creative brain sometimes. Okay, let's try that again. We are implementing a purse zipper along the bottom of each one of our seat cushions by taking the bottom portion of your cushion fabric and pinning a scrap piece of matching fabric upside down and at an angle. It should ultimately look something like this when you're done. Next, sew the pinned in place scrap piece of fabric onto the cushion fabric's bottom. First in one direction, and then in the opposite direction, creating one long skinny rectangle with your thread. Then, using a razor blade, cut through the sewed together pieces like so, down the entire inside length of the future zipper area. Flipping the sewn on scrap piece through the newly cut area and pinning it in place as well. I hope this is making sense visually to y'all. Please let me know in the comments below. All right, let's sew that zipper on, shall we? And when the zipper is all said and done, this is what it should look like. Now we just need to assemble all of those fabric pieces together. First, sewing the top of the cushion to its top welting and sides boxing. I always start in the center front of each cushion and sew in the opposite directions to help ensure that the corners all meet up correctly. I am also concerned with the front top of the cushion matching the pattern of the boxing front, but if you're just starting out in cushion making, please stick to solid fabrics, because pattern matching, just like learning how to sew on a sewing machine, listen, is a whole other technique to learn on its own. It would just be simply too much to try to cover everything in one single video. Then, once all the top welting and side boxing is attached to the top of your cushion, you basically repeat the entire task with the bottom portion of the cushion. That fabric portion we just finished sewing the purse zipper technique onto, giving you a completely sewed up cushion. And of course, recovering perfectionist Jenna had to give the cushion a good all over quality check, trimming away any straggling threads and making sure to trim off any extra material on the inside corners. Makes for a crisper corner. Just make sure you don't cut any of your sewing stitches. Okay, so now that the cushion is all sewn up, we need to worry about its stuffing, which is another DIY task for custom upholsterers. First, cutting the foam to the correctly desired measurements, which is the exact same measurement you cut your cushion fabric top to. That's right, you keep that extra 1 inch you added for seam allowance, as it helps with cushion compression as well. I mean, I think we've all been somewhere at some time sitting on a cushion, maybe in a restaurant or a hotel, and have thought, why the heck is this cushion so loose? No? Just me? Just this wonderfully weird soul? All right. Now, of course, upholstery foam doesn't come in the exact measurements you need, because that would just be too simple. So I have to cut and glue together 2 pieces of foam, putting the seam of the foam to the back of the cushion, where the inside back cushion will eventually cover that portion of the seat cushion. Could I say cushion more? Then once the foam is assembled together to the correct measurements, we wrap it up with Dacron, which is basically poly wrap for upholstery, adhering the Dacron to the foam with spray glue, and then hand stapling around the bottom of its edge for extra care. All right, color loves, y'all ready for the really hard part of the custom cushion upholstery process? If you have ever wondered why Jenna's arms have no jiggle on them, well, that's because of this task: stuffing cushions. It's beyond a workout. Not only will it leave you drenched in sweat, but it will also challenge your mind and spirit. But I do have to say it's worth it all in the end, color loves, because look at that beautiful cushion. Can you dig it? I personally think it's off the hook. This double-agent textile by Knoll Textiles, with its large-scale tri-colored pattern, proved to be the perfect complement to our 70s-inspired sunken living room space. What do you think, Cash? Did Mama do good on the cushion?
think your tail is saying so. 1 down, 11 to go, huh, Bubba?
I simply cannot wait to finish creating the 3 remaining seat cushions. Fingers crossed my foam vendor gets restocked. Boy, doing interior design during a pandemic, no fun. I am also eager to mock up the inside back cushion as well for the backs of the built-in sofas. That's when I'll be back with a brand new episode of Room Bloom on YouTube. That's right, color loves, stay tuned for part 2 of the Sunken Living Rooms Upholstery. Laters!